이것은 놀라운 마법과도 같습니다. 이걸 통해 언어 능력, 기억력, 운동 능력 등 모든 것을 향상시키며 이걸 무시하고 소홀히 여기면 다른 사람보다 뒤처질 것입니다. 이것은 바로 수면입니다.
We actually have to ask, is there anything that sleep doesn't support for brain or body? And the answer seems to be no. Every physiological system in the body and every single operation of the mind is wonderfully enhanced by sleep when you get it and demonstrably impaired when you don't get enough.
You used to think that there were kind of three pillars in the human body: diet, exercise, and sleep. And now you've pretty much said it's all superseded by sleep.
It is, yeah. I used to think that sleep was the third pillar of good health alongside diet and exercise. But I don't think that's true. I don't think the data supports my claim, so I had to reject it. I think sleep is actually the foundation on which those two other things sit. So for example, if you're dieting and you're trying to watch what you eat, but you're not getting sufficient sleep, 70% of the weight that you will lose will come from lean muscle mass, and you will keep all of the fat. The body actually becomes stingy in giving up its fat when you are underslept. If you're not getting sufficient sleep, your probability of exercising, firstly, the next day is markedly reduced. Secondly, when you do work out, your time to physical exhaustion is decreased considerably, almost by 30%. Your speed of sort of completion of running, for example, your peak muscle strength, even your ability to respire, to expire carbon dioxide, inhale oxygen, that's decreased. Lactic acid accumulation builds up quicker. Your ability to perspire, to cool the body, essential for high-performance sport, that is impaired too. And finally, your injury risk. This is one of the most recent findings. If you simply look at athletes across a season, and then you bucket them on the basis of how much sleep that they're getting, 9 hours plus, 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, there is a linear relationship with injury risk, that the less and less sleep that you have, the higher and higher your injury risk becomes. So again, if it's just to try and sort of emphasize why I changed my mind, it really is the bedrock from which those two other things will then subsequently emerge. And if that foundation is shaky, it's very difficult to think that those two other things are effective. So we've done a lot of these studies with sleep and memory. And so you need sleep after learning to sort of do that memory transfer so that you remember, so that deep sleep essentially future-proofs that information within your brain, so that you wake up and you've retained rather than you forget. And in fact, you can get so accurate with sort of this understanding sleep that by the time you wake up in the morning, even before I test you, I can predict with high accuracy how much you will have remembered. That's how predictive sleep is. So you need sleep after learning, but you also need sleep, however, before learning. But now to actually prepare your brain, a little bit like a dry sponge, ready to initially soak up new information. And without sleep, the memory circuits of the brain essentially become waterlogged, as it were, and you can't absorb information. So you need sleep on both sides of the learning equation. Sleep to prepare the soil of the brain for fertile sort of seeding of the information, and then you need sleep afterwards to germinate it and secure those roots so that you don't forget, you will always remember.
36시간 동안 수면을 박탈하고 뇌의 인지 기능에 미치는 영향력을 조사한 연구 결과가 있습니다. 18명의 건강한 20대 남자를 대상으로 36시간 동안 수면 박탈을 시행하였고 모집단에게 신경심리 검사 및 산수와 숫자 외우기를 실시했습니다. 숫자 외우기와 산수를 다룰 때는 수면 박탈 전후 큰 차이가 없었다고 합니다. 그러나 운동기능, 리듬, 언어 수용력 및 언어 표현력, 기억력 등의 인지 기능은 수면 박탈 후에 유의하게 저하되었습니다. 숫자 읽기, 일반 언어적 지능, 단순한 언어적 산술력에서는 인지 기능에 차이가 없었으나 복잡한 언어적 산술력은 수면 박탈 후에 크게 저하되었습니다. 보다 정밀한 진단에 의하면 수면 박탈이 논리적 문법적 구조와 같은 보다 정교한 언어 수용 기능을 저하시키며 좌방구보다는 우방구 기능 저하와 관련되어 있을 가능성을 시사하고 있습니다. 언어 수용력과 표현력 및 리듬 기능의 저하가 우방구 전측 영역의 기능 저하와 관련이 많음을 시사하고 있습니다.
Yeah, talk to me about this body temperature and how that helps you sleep. We've always heard the grandma thing saying take a hot bath before you go to sleep, but never really knew the science behind it.
And part, I think, of that I mean, often what I say is that we as sleep scientists are really putting the data behind everything that your grandmother. The temperature, to come back to it though, your brain and body need to drop their core temperature by about 1 degree Celsius or about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate sleep. And it's the reason that you will always find it easier to fall asleep in a room that's too cold than too hot. Because at least the cold room is taking you in the right thermal direction that your body wants to naturally go to get good sleep. Now, you could then kind of get recursive and say, okay, that's good, so your body needs to drop, but why does it need to drop its temperature? Well, why are we that way? We're that way because we are diurnal species and we were designed to be sleeping at night. And our bodies latched on to the natural drop in temperature as a cue and a trigger to fall asleep. And in modernity, we have dislocated ourselves with constant ambient temperature. Or worse still, we don't ventilate. So we evolved to be told to go to sleep using this thermal cue. Together with light is the other thing. For a long time, we thought it was just light that regulated our sleep. It's not, it's light and it's temperature, those two things. And if anything, it may be temperature that's even more powerful than light, but both are powerful. So you get into a hot bath and you think, well, it's because it makes me nice and relaxed, or I get warm and toasty. Relaxed, yes, but toasty, it's the opposite.
Because I would think that would raise my temperature and I wouldn't go to sleep.
Right, exactly. So as long as you don't stay in the bath for too long, or the shower, and the shower is a good one, what happens is that all of the blood will rush to the surface of your skin away from the core of your body, which then takes the heat out from the core, and you get out of the bath and you get this massive dissipation of heat. It's sort of all of the blood is just brought to these massive radiators that are the vascular surfaces of your hands, your face, and your feet. They radiate most of the heat out. And therefore, the core of your body, the temperature plummets. And that's why you fall asleep faster.
청소년들의 연령별, 수면량을 파악하고 수면 시간에 따른 정서적 상태와 자살, 건강 위의 행위와의 연관성을 분석한 연구 자료가 있습니다. 한국의 중고등학교 7만 5천 명의 학생들을 대상으로 설문조사하였고 조사 결과는 다음과 같습니다. 우리나라 청소년들의 수면 시간 조사 결과에 의하면 6시간 이상, 8시간 미만의 수면 시간을 가지는 B군이 46.2%로 가장 많았고 6시간 미만의 수면을 취하는 A군이 43.5%를 차지하여 청소년들의 수면 시간이 많이 부족하다는 것을 알 수 있습니다. 청소년들의 주관적인 행복도는 적정 수면군에서 가장 높았던 반면 6시간 미만의 야간 수면량을 가진 학생군이 가장 불행하다고 느꼈습니다. 스트레스 인지율, 우울감, 자살에 대해서 수면 부족군 순으로 높았으며 적정 수면을 취한 학생들에게서 가장 적었습니다.
이처럼 수면은 우리 삶의 많은 것들을 바꿀 수 있습니다. 수면의 중요성을 알고 잘 지켜서 본인이 가진 탁월한 성과를 발휘했으면 좋겠습니다. 영상 시청해주셔서 감사합니다.